What's up, everybody? This is Talkative Carl back again for another spoiler review for the finale of the Hawkeye series. And man, I was I was praying like, please don't drop the ball, please don't drop the ball, and they nailed it. They slam dunked it, and it's like now, like I said, in a couple of videos ago, you know, if this managed to you know uh uh ended on a good note, then because now that I've seen this and like the Spider-Man No Way Home, now I can actually, well, matter of fact, well, I was thinking about doing like a YouTube tier list for a couple of things. One, I want to do a YouTube tier list some point next week for all the Spider-Man films and rank them for the channel. But I also thought about doing like a tier list for all the Phase 4 stuff so far. And so far we had like WandaVision, Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man, and Black Widow. That's 7 things. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. But then I'm thinking of like, there's only 7 things, so it's kind of like I could do it, or I could wait until like, because I'm worried I might end up forgetting doing that. But I might want to wait until Phase 4 is complete. That way I can rank all the stuff proper. Matter of fact, now I'm thinking about it. I kind of want to go through each phase of the MCU and rank my films. Like from like least greatest to the greatest, so far as like ranking them one phase at a time. Or should I do all at once? Because that is a lot, but it's like 20. Well, when it comes to the movies, like 26 so far. Then you add in the TV shows, that's a little over 30. Well, since the year is nearly over at this point, and we won't get any kind of the next Marvel movie. Well, technically Marvel adjacent. Morbius is in January, but that won't count as MCU technically. Even though it has the Vulture in it. But then I'm thinking like, what's the thing? Like, Doctor Strange is next. I'm gonna take a look at the stuff. What's all the Phase 4 stuff? This is older stuff. Okay, here we go. Now, given the fact that like the COVID situation has I think have pushed definitely Black Panther up a bit. But so far we got Black Widow that came on July, Shang-Chi in September, Eternals November, Spider-Man No Way Home December, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki. Oh, and What If. I forgot about What If. I knew I was forgetting something. Hawkeye. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. So we got we got Love and Thunder, Doctor Strange. Yeah, so Love and Thunder comes first. Next year, Thor: Love and Thunder will be in July next year. Uh, then Doctor Strange in May. Black Panther has been moved to November next year. Then the Marvels in February. Guardians, February of 2023. Then Guardians Volume 3 is in the following May. Ant-Man and the Wasp following July. Then, of course, the Fantastic Four, which will bookend Phase 4, but that has no date yet. And then, of course, for the TV shows, next year, Miss Marvel show, then Moon Knight and She-Hulk is next year. And then you got the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special in December next year. And then the What If Season 2 is also next year. And then Secret Invasion. So, I could still do. Yeah, as a matter of fact, not even just Phase 4, because I can still just do. Because I might have to redo it by the end of Phase 4, but that's 2 years from now, almost a year from now. So what I want to do at some point is go through like a tier list for. I know I'm getting to Hawkeye series in a minute, but I want to get to a tier list for the all my Marvel stuff from each phase. Because, well, I don't know. It all depends. I might want to do it all at once instead of making just 4 different videos. Even though it's not going to be complete. Because I figure probably, good to do it proper when Phase 4 is done. But, that's almost like a year from now. It's like, kind of got that urge to do so. So, yeah. So, but we'll see how it shapes up next week. But anyway, Hawkeye finale, man, and they started off strong with Kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio back after it was last week has been a great week for Daredevil, and I hope and pray, which I think is kind of obvious, that Kevin Feige got the rights back from Netflix with all their Marvel stuff, and they start off with a banger with one of their biggest hits, Daredevil series. We got spoiler alert for Spider-Man No Way Home, slight spoiler if you still have not seen it at this point. You got Charlie Cox's Daredevil showing up in a cameo. Then last week you got a cameo with Kingpin, but in the picture. Then now in the finale, you get him with several scenes, and he hasn't missed a step. He's still just as menacing, just as threatening, and I love the way Vincent D'Onofrio plays this guy, and this dude is can tank crap, a car ran into him, arrow shots. Of course, if you recall the show, he has liners in the kind of bulletproof, kind of tough liners, almost synthetic armor underneath his own suits and stuff, so he can take a bullet. It's kind of like you see in John Wick 2, whereas you had those special order suits that slightly bulletproof. And of course, he's been him and Elena Kate's mom's been fully in partners for a long while, but she comes to him given the fact that like, nobody needs to, she doesn't want, of course, like she takes, like as she mentions, because she's trying to break away from the whole entire thing before, it rains down on her own daughter, because since her daughter's getting close, she knows full well who she's dealing with, and she knows full well at some point he will probably going to end up asking her to kill her own daughter, which she is not going to do. She mentions him like, I killed my own husband, I framed my own my own boyfriend to take the rap for these shell companies that Hawkeye found out, but I draw the line with my daughter. And like you hear that voice of this Vincent D'Onofrio, it's like a kingpin voice, like, in the spirit of the holidays, please reconsider. And it's like, and it's like, this dude, like, if you have seen the show, how this dude is. He doesn't often give like fair warnings or second chances. And it's like, when he's disappointed, when he's embarrassed, when he's crossed, he doesn't hesitate to have you or anybody else that killed to make a point. He took a man's head off. That's still tattooed in a lot of people's brains. They took a guy's head off with a car door for embarrassing him. And it's like, this dude, like, and it's like, when he goes to that Kit Harington looking dude, asks him like, so what are you gonna do about this? And it's like, oh my God. It's like, he's like, he's not one to mess with. So, but it's just fun to watch him. So, when stuff started getting really real with Kate, when it's obvious that her mother has been involved with this crime lord for X amount of years, completely turning her life upside down. But like, Clint sticking with her and saying, like, you're my partner, your mess is my mess, we're gonna fix this. And so you get to see the Matt Fractions costume for the LARPers made for Clint and Kate. Speaking of which, I never bothered to mention in any one of my reviews for the Hawkeye series that during the opening and ending credits, the artistry, which Matt Fractions did have, a part in helping this show be as good as it is. Given the fact that even like the opening artwork and the ending artwork, when the credits roll, it's in the design of the Matt Fractions Hawkeye, run that I did a review on, which, by the way, check that out on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/talkativecarl. Follow me on the links in the description. And, I mean, I dig it. It was a nice touch. I don't know why that I didn't click in my brain the whole time I'm doing these reviews for this show. But I also just, did the costume. They finally go to this big old Christmas party gala thing that the mother's, throwing. And of course, they make some new arrows. And when you see these things flying, it is awesome. And it's like, oh my God. It still doesn't beat like the gigantic single arrow shooting down through the bridge, but it's still badass as hell. You got like a sonic arrow, flashbang, ice arrow. You even got like an arrow that shoots, crazy randomized, 360-degree needles at everybody. You got taser arrow. You got like airbag arrow, magnetic arrows, pinpoint arrows. It shows up again, but this time shrinking a truck. It was badass. I loved every minute of it. But they go to the party. They using like the LARPers, as like addicts, just to placate to being like security or like uh like waiters and stuff like that, which some people don't think like, why is the LARPers here and stuff like that. You forget they're also, some of these guys are also first responders, that can handle emergency situations. One of them being a detective and the other, Grills, being a firefighter. I was still worried about Grills because they kind of veered off a little bit from the Mad Fraction one, because spoiler alert for the run, Grills died in that, but in a different way by a psychotic killer, but that doesn't play out here. So Grills, I was worried about, oh my god, please don't have anybody kill Grills by accident or something like that. I was worried about that, but no, Grills lives to fight another day. And this pretty much confirms once they head to the party, and Eleanor, Kate confronts her mother, and which confirms that Jack isn't the bad guy. He's just a rich douchebag, but he's not involved in any of this. He's a decent-ish guy, but was Kate and I'm having like embarrassingly apologize, for just suspecting him. But I'm glad this turned out this way. It's like he was set up as a red herring, but it's kind of like it's like a rare obvious red herring that he's behaving like an asshole, so you assume he's like the bad guy. And on the added fact that in the comics he is an actual bad guy that helped raise Clint. So they kind of like, just like with the Skrulls, they kind of turn it on his head and not make them like good guys. Well, at least in Jack's case, he's not making him a good guy, but he's not the overall villain, or just not the villain that we think he would turn out to be. Which I'm actually glad. I think a lot of people are actually glad, because I don't know if it's maybe because it seems too obvious, or it's just like it's just a nice little twist, at least on the character side. And of course, Yelena shows up at the party looking gorgeous because I love the color green, and she wearing that green coat and everything like that. As soon as she walked in, and one of the LARPers playing the cold checker, it's like, Koza, no. It's just like she's just like, it's just like, oh my god, just her. Florence Pugh is just phenomenal. It's like she plays funny and just a serious assassin level threat, menacing threat. In playing back and forth like ping pong so well and effortlessly that it's like I'm really attracted, but at the same time scared of her. But despite me being scared of her, I still want her kind of situation. It's kind of like a weird combination of scared and attracted, which I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like because like I mentioned plenty of times, if you ever watch my walkthroughs of video games, or just like me commenting on movies, that I have a strange attractiveness to like really badass women, or just bad girls, or just tough women. And it's like, and like the added fact that she's funny is making her even more attractive, because I like to laugh. And after the Kit Harington right hand man guy start to snipe people and trying to snipe Clint, or Eleanor, he's trying to snipe Eleanor, and it was a cool move where as soon as like Clint caught that, he flips over one of the serving trays and blocks the first shot. Then the lights are killed, so everybody's scattering, and while the LARPers are trying to do their jobs as first responders, but people aren't really listening to them like that, because they're not dressed as first responders. They don't look like anybody of any knowledge or authority that can handle these kind of situations. So people are just not like, they just kind of scrambling. But like I said, like they're there for a reason, but it's like then they later on showed up in there, like how do you have time to even change in all that gear? But they show up later in their LARPer gear, trying to, I guess, placate to the role of I'm helping an Avenger, I gotta dress the part kind of situation, which it's okay, I guess. Part of me doesn't feel like, just show them at least once or twice, escorting people out of the building to safety. You don't need to make it like a whole thing with them, like huzzah, like just like the whole rah rah thing. But matter of fact, it would have played better if they didn't show up in their LARPer gear, but their actual uniforms of their day jobs, like firefighter and officer. But I guess since it's like play for comedic effect to some extent, but like I said, it's like Anyway, when Kate and Yelena bump into each other, it's like right at the elevator. It's right off the bat. It's like these two can really play off each other very well. And, Kate mentions like, you plan on finding Clint out of 65 floors? And then the elevator dings. It's like, he's on level 12. Damn it. And it's like, and then she just like hops in the elevator with her. It's like, and it's like the whole entire thing is just so funny. And Kate trying to, press a different button, and and she just, Elaine just slaps her hand like, and she try to get to the button, and it's like they, tussle a little bit, and it just stands still. It's like, and just go back and forth. And then it's like the funniest moment out of this entire episode is like gets me, oh my god, every time. It's just so doggone funny. And it's so freaking immature, but it's hilarious when Kate does. She just like starts pressing all the buttons. It's like, oh, come on. It's so it's just the annoyance from Elaine. It's like, oh, that got me so much. Oh my god, I love that part. He just presses like you knew that was coming, and he's just like, that's Kate, just that level of immaturity. Oh my god, it was so funny. I love that part. Oh my god, just the childish nature of it. But she just got off on a different floor and just decided, like, I'm just gonna huff it on the side of a building, so fuck it. Oh my god. But you see like this cool tracking shot where it's like going like almost like panel to panel of different rooms. It's like a different way, not too dissimilar to like the hallway fight from Daredevil, but instead of like it's like one tracking shot and you're looking front, face forward, you're on a side like a comic book panel, but you're going from room to room, and it's not breaking. There's no edit or breaks into the fights. You see them going back and forth, and it's like a cool shot. I love that shot. And then of course, they're enjoying each other's company. You can just tell, especially coming from Elena. And then like but of course she grapples off the side of the building, try to take a shot at Clint off the 12th floor, but she misses. But then a cool moment with Kate. She like just follows her through her own line, but she just like freaking out. She's literally hopping off the side of a building, which she obviously never done before. But lands, and she does that superhero landing. I was like, god damn it, Deadpool, you like just stuck in my mind forever now, that every time I see that I have to think of his ass. But the superhero landing, how impractical that is, and it's like, god dang it, like I gotta think about that every time. Like every time they do it, and he's just like, yeah, they all do it. It's totally impractical. Like, fuck, you messing up for me. You take the epicness out of the moment, and it's like every time I see it, I'm like, god, it's literally stupid. But anyway, of course, like Clint, fights off the tracksuits. I mean, Clint and Kate, fight off the tracksuit mafia guys. Echo shows up and takes down the Kid Harington dude. I don't know his name, actor or the character name at all. We probably said like a bunch of times, but it's like I just he looks like freaking Kit Harington. Let's go and call him Kit Harington. And of course, she ends up killing the guy, even though it looks like they were actually romantically involved. But he doesn't want to get out of the life. He actually wants to be in this life. He likes doing what he's doing. Don't know why he doesn't consider the fact that he's working for the literal kingpin who murders a lot of people who cross them in any kind of way, and very little time to give second chances to people. And I'm pretty sure he heard horror stories about him. And matter of fact, I actually do think like Kingpin actually got blipped away and came back. I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous video that I reviewed for episode 5, is that it's possible that he got blipped away and for 5 years, and came back and everything. That everything's up like in all disheveled. Nobody's really like, I don't know about how many inmates that people are looking for right now that got blipped away and now they're back, or it's like, some other situations or whatever the case may be. It'd be curious to know, maybe in like a Daredevil, or if they do another Daredevil series, but for like Hulu or Disney Plus, or even like the not Jessica Jones, but She-Hulk, they can address the fact that guys like Kingpin, who were blipped away, like from in the prison system, and gone for 5 years, so their records are just completely nixed, and then they blip back into their cells with somebody else there and everything like that, and it's like now it's like all discombobulated. It's like legally they are dead, so it's like what that means that crimes are erased. Or at least, something had to come up, because that would be an interesting take. Like, what's happened to like the prison system now that like half the inmates around the globe were probably blipped away. Because legal, even though most of them probably didn't get the death penalty, but probably got life or several years. But if would they be considered time served? I mean, that'd be an interesting thought. Like, what would be, because like, got a fresh start, I guess. But yeah, but it was like an awesome, show. I mean, like, I don't know about an Echo show. It's like, the mouse overlord just like trying to turn every little thing into a show. That's why I didn't feel, like too hyped on like shows like except with Boba Fett, but like shows like the Wild, like the Bad Batch, or like the Echo show. It's like there are some shows, despite how good a character might be in a particular show, like Echo was pretty good in this, and like, you got a lot from this woman, even though she's mute. She plays like, just like her and Makari from Eternals, they do it so well, and I love them for it. And you get so much emotes from these guys or ladies, and it's like it kind of adds more so that even if they could speak, and it's like, I don't know, it's just like a phenomenal acting coming from these guys. But sometimes it doesn't warrant them to get their own shows, like not, what I mean? It's like, it's like, I don't know. It's like I said, using the Echo as a prime example, or even like that whole if you watch the CW shows, there was like, on the Black Lightning, there was a character called Painkiller, and I don't know if they kind of nixed the idea by now, but they was toying with the idea about like making a Painkiller show, and he was like, he was barely a supporting character, and it's like, and not that he was horrible or anything like that, but it's like why does he warrant a show on his own? it's like he's not on that level. It's just like there's just certain characters you don't need a show for. They just find where they were. But then after the fight between, which you never saw coming, Kate and Kingpin fighting each other after he's trying to go kill Eleanor, but that's like the showrunners are really having some fun with Kingpin because this dude's really killing a couple of her security and then ripping off a freaking limo car door. And it's like, holy, he didn't have no freaking super strength. Given the fact that, it's the Kingpin in the comics, he has some measure of strength, but that's like, just because it looks like fat is actually muscle and he actually has some bit of strength. But like, wow, they really lean hard into it this time around than they did in the Daredevil series. Because if that was the case, he can rip off any of these bars from his prison cell, to be honest with you. But, the fight between him and Kate was pretty dang epic. And, like, she can just, like, her ass wrecked for a minute. Because she's a tiny woman having to go against this, large man. It's just like, you just pound her right into a freaking ground. But she does a little trick shot, she was taught, and like use the arrows on the ground. At least a few of those, I think, was Stark's tech stuff. It's like kind of like missile things that kind of explode. And it's like, holy shit, it was like an amazing explosion that still didn't kill this dude. Like I said, he made out of, some tough stuff. It's not even just like the armor lining in his suit. That's more than armor lining. Like, he got hit by a car and, got, an explosion, in front of himself. And still managed to like just limp along out of the situation before he got, arrested. But then he bumps into Echo, who off screen shoots him, but let's be honest, he's not dead. Obviously he's coming back. But then you get Elena fighting against Clint, who's not really fighting, he's defending himself because it's like he's not fighting back against, Natasha's sister. Then he finally gets a chance to let her know just by the use of the special whistle that Elena and Natasha share between each other from the Black Widow movie. Nice little callback to that. And obviously, it's not something he picks up or figures out himself. He actually had to be, taught that. And only Natasha would have taught him that. And he mentions how important she was to him too. And he misses her just as much. And, they share a moment. And then, I don't know, in a way, Yelena kind of forgives him. But here's the thing I want to mention, because I'm a little confused, and I wish, if anybody who's seen this can let me know in case I kind of like, maybe I'm glossed over something. But for the most of the show, Clint was obviously suffering from PTSD from the events because not only with like physically with the earpiece, because he's deaf in one ear because of the constant explosions he probably had to endure during the Endgame fight, but also the fact that he lost his partner, his closest friend in the world that he went through hell and high water with, he lost during this, trying to get the Soul Stone. And that still obviously was haunting him, especially after you see hints of this in the first 2 episodes. And I do not feel like they actually solved that, really. Maybe it's because, he had like an actual heart-to-heart and actually talked it out, finally expressed it with somebody who probably can't understand, which is Yelena. And maybe since he forgave him, he kind of got permission to forgive himself, kind of situation. I don't know, but that seems kind of like, obviously PTSD isn't like a quick fix kind of situation, but it seems like, I don't know, it's like They didn't look like they. It did not seem like they solved that in any way. At least, maybe not verbally, but I don't see anything, showing that part of him. He probably finally came to grips with the fact that that he had to accept, the fact that she made her decision. There's nothing, like he said, there's nothing neither one of them can do about it. It was Nat, and maybe that was the moment, but I don't know. I guess it kind of went over my head, but it doesn't seem like they kind of like really address his PTSD. This is something like, I wish it was like, maybe not make it obvious, but like reflect a bit more. But Eleanor ends up getting arrested after some weird, like, not gonna say weird, but it's just like, from a parent in general, is weird, like saying like, trying to sort of explain herself, like, telling Kate, like, I did what I had to do because you won't be able to handle your, any kind of consequences, or like you can't handle like the, real world, kind of situation. It's very privileged type of dialogue where like, you won't be able to handle yourself. Like, you just witness your daughter manage to hang with one of the Avengers, going, taking down a lot of bad guys. I'm pretty sure you're not giving her just due credit. But it's just like, you talking about accepting consequences for your actions. You literally avoid it as much as you can, or at least cover it up as much as you can, to avoid jail time after murdering one guy and framing another guy. You get this like funny moment where, like, one of the lobbyists talking to Jack after he helped out Kate, taking down some of the tracksuit mafia guys with his rapier sword. It'd be kind of funny scene to see like him LARPing, but he probably end up like taking over it because he's still like a rich asshole, but just an eccentric rich asshole. But then he finally ends with Clint coming back home for Christmas Day, as he promised, hands that watch over to his wife, which actually is like a Shield Agent watch, Rolex thing, kind of like, as a sign of retirement kind of situation. She used to be a Shield agent, Agent 19, which is in the comics is Mockingbird, which if you had watched Agents of Shield, there was a Mockingbird character there for like a season, but like at least a couple of seasons, but it wasn't the same person. This is like a mantle that was passed down, and it's possible because in the comics, one time Clint was married to Mockingbird in the comics. So this is alluding to that, and it's just cool to see like, yeah, he married the original Mockingbird. She retired, and they settled down and had a family while he still was the breadwinner by going out doing shield work, but she decided to leave the life and help build the family back home. He invites Kate over, given the fact that, I guess she didn't want to spend Christmas with Jack, just her and him. And Eleanor is in prison. She obviously don't want to be around her. But she ended up spending Christmas with Clint's family. And it's a funny moment where after they burned the Ronin costume to put that to rest, they make a joke about like, what to call her. And he kind of like shuts down every little weird name she comes up with. And then the episode ends with, like, I got an idea. How about, obviously he's going to call her Hawkeye. But, yeah. And then you get like a post-credit thing, and it just turns into the full play production of the play that, I forgot what it's called, like Steve Rogers or Avengers or something like that. from what you saw a little bit of during the first episode, and he actually made it, into like a short little, like a couple of minute little production. You actually get to see, and it's like, it's very, like, I haven't even watched Hamilton. Like, I don't know if I even going to watch Hamilton. I'm not a play guy, but it's like that. I kind of like roll my eyes over. It's done well, but it's like I kind of like, it's slightly cringy, or at least, I don't know. I want to say making a joke out of it. People seem to love it. It's very Hamilton. I've seen like clips of Hamilton, and it's like, it's just like Hamilton-esque performance. But anyway, that was the finale of Hawkeye. Pretty sure they're gonna make a second season, but probably focus more on Kate, because they're dealing with new Avengers now. We got like a new Black Widow, a new Hawkeye. Well, for a time, people were like joking about like Spider-Man being like, Iron Man Jr., or at least him like taking over the role like as Iron Man. But it's like, no, he's just gonna be like his own thing. But then of course, since Captain America is gone, you got now Captain Marvel, gonna be like like a kind of sort of leader. Then you got Rhodey and then Ironheart pretty much picking up the Iron Man mantles themselves. So they're working with like, and then She-Hulk, pretty much like not become like new Hulk or anything like that, but just like, Bruce Banner's gonna probably like, take a seat on the sidelines most of the time, and She-Hulk's gonna deal with the bulk of the superhero stuff. So it's fun that we're getting these new set of Avengers for the next several phases. So anyway, that was my review for Hawkeye episode 6, season 1. Let me know what you guys think. What you like, what you disliked about it. And like, I cannot wait for like the new stuff coming around the bend. Like, the next thing will be Thor: Love and Thunder. Super excited for that, but I'm more so excited for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. After we got a good look at the trailer at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, you get to see like, Wanda, of course, and then, which was a surprise to me. This is probably the only surprise out of the whole entire, well, there's two surprises. One of them is actually confirmed. The other is just a rumor for now. But one of the surprises, you get the live action version of the Dark Doctor Strange from the What If series. He's, in this movie. And honestly, he looks better in live action than he does in animation form. Like, I don't know why. It just does to me look better. And played by, of course, Benedict Cumberbatch. And I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. And you get to see Shuma Gorath, one of the biggest Doctor Strange villains aside from Dormammu. And you get to see, Mordo again. I can't pronounce the actor's name who plays Mordo, but he has locks now, and so times has passed. So it's possible that he has not blipped himself, so he has time to grow all that out, because it's like literally like down to his like shoulders. So yeah. Blanking on what else I was going to say, but yeah, but that's pretty much it. So I will see you guys next time. I'll be in a little bit. We'll be reviewing a couple of not new, but a couple of Christmas videos: Will Ferrell's Elf and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Gonna be fairly short, but they'll be up in a little while. Tomorrow I will be reviewing Matrix 4, give you my thoughts about what I saw. Then next day, a couple more Christmas movie reviews. So yeah, I will see you guys soon. Take care. Be safe. Peace.